I am the least stressed that I've ever been in my life. And I think there's a lot of contributing factors to that. There's a lot of things that I've learned in the past couple of years just about relationships, finances, career, and how you spend your free time. And some of these factors can greatly influence how much stress you have in your life and how happy you are with moving forward with your goals and ambitions. So let's talk about how to eliminate stress in your life and what factors are influencing how purposeful you feel living. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. My name is Lauren, and on this channel I usually talk about lock journey tips, but I also make a little bit of lifestyle and mental health content. So if you're interested in either of those things, you can subscribe to the channel. And today I'm gonna be talking about 10 things that I have learned in the past year or implemented that have helped me reduce stress in my life. Ain't nobody stressing me out. Man, my nervous system has been regulated. And it's all due to a few things, whether circumstantially they have happened or I have chose this life and I have chose for some things to be set in place. So let's talk about these things. So number one, the first way I stay stress-free is minding my business. I know that sounds so like smart, sarcastic, but hear me out though. Say you have a person in your life who you trust them, you lean on them, and you know, they're like a ride or die. Somewhere down the line, that person can and probably will step out of your trust, betray you, etc. And it's kind of inevitable. What we don't want is to make other people's problems our problems. Everyone, your friends, your spouse, your parents, they have their own problems. They have their own trauma that they come with. And the moment that we allow whatever trauma, whatever problems they're going through to project into our lives, and we have let whatever they have done to betray us affect us so deeply that we take it so personal, when it has absolutely nothing to do with us, but it seems like it has something to do with us because you were involved in that interaction. That's when we lose the whole point of interacting in, interpersonal relationships. Other people's problems are not our problems. And a lot of the things that I used to take personally that people did or said to me, they just got their own stuff going on. That's what I'd be like. I'd just be like, hey, that stank attitude that you got, I ain't got nothing to do with it. You brought it over my way, and now you can bring it back over there. And so you're done feeling that way because it's not going to ruin my day. It's not going to ruin my vibe. That has nothing to do with me. And that's why I say I mind my business. Unless that person comes and opens up to you about, hey, this and that's going on, and that's why I'm feeling, that's why I'm acting this way, and that's why, but I have learned to be there for other people without making their business my business, because it ain't my business at the end of the day. The second way I stay stress-free is accepting that there are seasons, and then each time there's a new season, changes will happen in your life, and those shifts will be uncontrollable. You have to realize what's shifting in your life and how, but you also have to be okay that you won't understand why certain shifts are being made in your life. You won't understand why you just got laid off from your job at the time that it happens. You won't understand why the closest person to you betrayed you in the way that they just did when it happens. You won't understand why this tragedy in your life that happens. Sometimes not until months or years later do you actually have the foresight to see how that one event caused a chain reaction of other events that would not have happened if that one event had never been there. And so you would have never been where you are now, whether you like where you are now and whether you don't like where you are now. With each season comes new opportunities. There's nothing to do but grow. So I take every season as a chance for growth, whether that growth feels good or whether it feels uncomfortable. Because if it feels uncomfortable, you're probably doing it right. If it always feels good, you're probably not embracing it enough. You're probably not challenging yourself enough. And so it really takes to learn how to be okay with being uncomfortable all the time. So number 3, I stay stress-free by managing my finances, y'all. Like, we gotta talk about finances, y'all, because Yo, it is right now, it's June, and in August I'll be 27 years old. When I first started this channel, if you've been rocking me with me and you've been an OG, I appreciate you. I love you. If you're just starting to watch me, I love you too, but you know, the other ones, they're kind of cooler. Sorry. When I started this channel, I was 21 years old, and since then and now, there's a whole gap of information that I have grown to accept and take into consideration when it comes to your peace of mind. If your finances are right, there's going to be something always in the back of your head that burdens you. And I'm not here to be a financial advisor. I'm not the best person with finances. There are plenty of YouTube channels for that. But I will say, know what the numbers are. Most of the people who are worried, really, really worried about their finances, they're worried because either you're managing them with someone else and the relationship between you and that person and your finances together isn't very stable, or you just have a lot of debt, or you really don't even know where your money's going. You think you know because you have it and you have an idea in your head, but you don't actually look at the spreadsheet. You don't look at the pie chart. You don't know the numbers actually. So what I've learned is that I used to be stressed about money because I did not actually look from a bird's eye view at what was in my account and where it's going, what I'm spending it on, and how much I could save or invest. And all of those things I'm doing now. When I tell you, it makes just such a huge difference in my confidence, in my finances, and my future, because at this age, honestly, if you haven't started investing yet, I think it's a great place to start now, because a lot of people will say, my age will say like, hey, I'm only in my 20s. I'm going to wait until I'm like 30 or 35 to start investing or to start my Roth IRA or whatever. And I think we should all probably at this age, like right now, if you can do it sooner, but why not do it sooner? Because you're gonna have more money. Even if you don't have a lot of money right now, it's still better to start now and invest into your future. Because if not, you're basically stealing money from your future self and robbing your 47 or 57-year-old self, because your 27-year-old self doesn't know what your 57-year-old self will know at 57. So yeah, the finances, they're so important, y'all. They're so important. Another way I stay stress-free is having uplifting human beings surrounding me. I would say I do not have a lot of close friends. I wouldn't even say that I have a best friend. And even if I could say that I have a best friend, the person who I would consider my best friend probably has a closer friend to them. So it's not super mutual. But I will say, even though I don't have close people very close to me or any groups of friends, or I just have individual people that may be close acquaintances, but everyone around me is someone who is super mindful of how they communicate with not just me, but other people, is super respectful of the people in their life and super respectful of strangers, and have a very optimistic viewpoint on their life. Everyone who I associate with, and it has shown up in a huge way. But because of that, it makes so much of a difference who you surround yourself with. If on the flip side, on the contrary, the closest people to me were non-goal oriented, didn't like what they're doing for a living, have a negative outcome on life, and don't have a vision for their life, I would be all over the place. And I have been friends with people like that. I have been in relationships with people like that. And I'm looking at the correlations now as I reflect. I'm looking back at the correlations between when I was close to people like that, when I was in relationships with people like that had that mindset, and if there's a certain energy around that person that can rub off on you, and I'm like, oh, hold up, I don't want that. Get that off of me, right? I want the other, the other energy surrounding me. I want that all over me, And it's just made such a huge difference in how I'm able to see bigger, brighter visions for myself. Number 5 way that I stay stress-free, and this is gonna contrast the previous one. Man, it's being single. Oh my gosh. Being single for about a year and a half now has been one of the most elevated versions of myself that I can ever remember. And it might be once you really get past a certain age or you've had a certain experience in life, the way your brain works, the things that you tolerate, and everything that I said beforehand that I've kind of gotten in line and gotten in order, along with being very careful of the people I surround myself with, along with ain't nobody stressing me out in a relationship. Chef's kiss, you can't beat it, because I think there's, like I said, there's seasons for everything, and there will be a season when a person comes along that's, you know, that's a good fit. But maybe for a long time, as I'm reflecting, for a long time I felt unsatisfied if I wasn't constantly either seeking out romanticism or companionship or actively engaging in it. It seemed like at some point there was a fairy tale version of a relationship that I thought they would be best for me because I just thought that's what you're supposed to do. But no. I mean, I think there's so much freedom in making your own decisions. Being able to just, I moved to China last year. I moved to China and lived there for 7 months. I would have never done that. I would have never made some of the decisions that were best for me and that elevated myself, because if I were making a decision, I would have been making it with two people in mind. It's kept me stress-free. It's kept me focused on my goals. It's kept me richer, hotter, and happier. So there are lots of people who are in very healthy relationships, and it's their season for a relationship. But for me, in the season that it's not time for one, it has been the most reflective, because in this season I have not been searching out one, because finally I am not only satisfied but thankful for just being me, myself, and I. Number 6, way I stay stress-free is doing hobbies on the side. It's cool to have your job. We should all have a job, something that we do. And it's cool to have that job be something that you kind of don't like, if it does at that point bring in some bread. But if that is the case, we need to be actively engaging in something, some type of hobby that makes you feel like your everyday has purpose. Because if you're doing something, 1/3 of our life is consumed with work. 1/3 of the average American's life is consumed with work of the whole lifespan. So if that 1/3 of all of your time is being spent doing something that you don't like, or even worse, you hate, you're gonna be stressed. You're probably gonna be miserable, and you won't feel like you have some alignment and direction and purpose in your life. I'll get to that more in a later point. But if at least that thing is bringing in money, then doing some hobby on the side that maybe you don't have to monetize. Maybe it's just for your leisure. You join a pickleball team, or you join a calisthenics team, calisthenics club, or create content on YouTube about something that you like, or on TikTok or social media. Do something on your free time that brings you joy and that makes you feel like you're living in your purpose, what you were designed to do, what you were created to do, because we all have something that we were created to do. So do it now. Number 7, this is where I get into the weeds. Okay, number 7, okay, it is, hear me out, it's having a job that I actually enjoy doing. All right, so this comes with a caveat, because the thing I've realized about myself recently is because I used to think that I wanted to be a full-time entrepreneur. So I do a lot of things, right? Here's one thing. I make content here on YouTube. It pays me a little bit, you know. I also am a certified yoga teacher, a meditation teacher. I got certified in both of those. I'm a stretch therapist, right? So all of those are already things that I can educate people on. I'm a natural educator. And that is where I have kind of found a purpose fulfilling in life. Now, how I go throughout those purposes can be different and can give me different results. A couple months ago, I was living in China, like I said, and I had a job as a English teacher. So let's compare those two. The first one, stretch therapist, is my job now. And actually, before I was an English teacher from June of last year to January this year, I was also a stretch therapist. So it's something that, you know, kind of feeds into my purpose, passions, or whatever, but it's something that I don't hate doing. I actually really love doing, even though it can be stressful, and it's something that I can build off of while I do other things to make other income and other side hustles on the side. If I was, maybe having a desk job or something that didn't involve me working in my purpose, I probably wouldn't feel fulfilled. And so that's the thing. How can you put your passions and your talents and your gifts, because we all have them, we all are creatives. How can you put those into a job or something that you really enjoy? What is the job? Or maybe even create the job for you. Maybe it is whatever it is, because I can't tell you. But one thing's for certain, when I was living in China as a full-time English teacher, I enjoyed the aspect that I got to travel. I enjoyed the aspect that I got to immerse myself in different cultures. I went to go visit Japan. I went to go visit Thailand and meet a whole bunch of different people, and I was socializing, and I enjoyed that aspect of it. But the job itself, I almost hated that job. There were days where it was good, and then there were days where it was like, shh. There were days where it was good and days where it was really, really bad. And the really, really bad days just kind of took over. So sometimes you have to compromise, but also listen. Just listen to your body. By the way, someone once asked me to zoom in and show my nails. Here's my nails right now, just in case you care. Number 8 way that I stay stress-free is not being afraid to look stupid. Nobody's looking at you. Nobody. And there might be people looking at you, right? Because for example, for myself, there have been a lot of positions I put myself in a place to try new things, even when I have a public persona, and I'm not afraid to look stupid doing those new things, because who cares? At the end of the day, who cares? At least I put myself out there and I tried it. If it didn't work, oh well, let's move on to the next thing. But don't be afraid to look stupid. Try new things. Go on new adventures. Jump outside of your comfort zone. I don't know, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Who cares? The people who are looking at you and laughing at you and talking about you, they probably ain't. They probably doing that to themselves because they think they're the loser, not you. Because they would never do the things that you dream of doing either way. That's why they laughing. So just do the thing you want to do anyways, and don't care. Don't care what anybody's going to think about it. Number 9, hear me out. Be very selective about who you tell your plans and goals to. Be selective. Many reasons. Overall, there's people who might be snakes in the grass. They might be slithering around, and you might whisper a little secret to them, and you might think they might hold it, put it in their pocket, save it for later. But low key, there's certain people who could be like preying on your downfall, so to speak, and you never know sometimes who is wishing you ill will. But you almost all of us probably know who those OG ride or dies are that you can go to in times of need. You can talk to them and you can trust them. And with all of the big leaps and bounds and jumps that I've made in my life, I was very selective who I told my plans to, because I know that I'm a good listener. And that is an advantage, but it can also be a disadvantage. I'm a good listener because I'm gonna listen to a lot of people who have advice, and their advice is just this:
don't do that. That's not a good idea. No, that'll never work. I did it before. It doesn't work. It doesn't. Don't do that. Do this instead.
And I used to be the person that would listen. I would be like, okay, maybe I should do that other thing that they said that I should do instead. But no, I realized that when you hold on to the plans that you have, even if they might not be great plans, again, don't be afraid to look stupid. Try it anyways, as long as it's not gonna hurt nobody. Try it anyways. If it doesn't work out, then you have more data of what to do better the next time. But at least you tried it, and then just know that real G's move in silence like lasagna, like, Lil Wayne said. And number 10, the way I stay stress-free is continuing to have a vision. That just is. Continue to have a vision and continue to plan for the future. Plans are going to change. Visions are going to change. I make a vision board every single year, and just by having it up on my wall in my room, I'm subliminally programming my brain so that most of the things on that vision board are going to come true by the end of the year. But even if they don't come true, I'm not like, oh, I'm a failure, I didn't stick to this vision. Because it's okay for you to pivot, and it's okay for us to change our vision and change our goals. I think that's the point. The point is just to always have something to aim at. Because if you're blindfolded and you're throwing the dart, you're just wishing to hit any target. You feel me? And you're going to literally hit any target. You could end up way out in left field and you're like, well, how did I even get out here? This is crazy. It's because we didn't have a vision in the first place. We didn't have anything that we were aiming for. We're just going about life and just walking with blindfolds on. So having a vision, always having a vision, is one of the main ways I stay stress-free. So what are some ways that you stay stress-free, and what did you learn from this video? Thanks so much. I aim to make again more videos like this. I used to make a lot more videos about lifestyle and mindset, and yeah, maybe it's time to lean back into this type of content. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Thanks so much. All right, y'all. Peace.